everyone, and welcome to the Go Lurk Yourself podcast. My name is Crunky.
And I am Cherry Cake.
On this podcast, we talk about video games, Twitch streaming, and Simpsons sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes, yeah.
We talk about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes we find cute little indie hit games that are awesome and we want to bring them to your attention. And then other times, we're just cattle buying the same old crap we've been buying for 2 decades.
Speaking of.
Like this week, we were talking about a couple of indie hits called Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty.
I don't think I've heard of them before, Frank.
No, I don't think we have either. It's weird because our friend Gorby, who you guys, if you've been a long time listener to the podcast, he's been on the show before. He and I and Cherry and a couple of other friends would play a lot of PUBG, let's say last year. And he went and got himself a hobby and a full-time job making movies. He's making... I don't even know if you call them art house pictures or what, but started going to like these script building classes and whatnot, and he's really enjoying it. But that means he just has less time to game. So he messaged me maybe a week ago. It's like, hey, I've got like a week and a half, 2 weeks off. We've got fall break for the kids, so I'm going to take some time off work, and the movie production stuff shut down for 2 weeks. Let's get some gaming in. What are you playing? Let's talk. And I go, well, I was looking at Call of Duty Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and he's like, really? You want to play COD? I go, they have a new PUBG clone in it called Blackout, and I tried the open beta, and it was interesting enough, and I've been looking for something to kind of fill the gap for multiplayer with friends, and the thought of $60 getting you the Blackout PUBG clone, the zombie mode, and the regular multiplayer, deathmatch, control, whatever you call it, that Call of Duty is known for. I haven't bought one in, let's say, 3 or 4 major releases, so I thought, well, let's try it out, and it's been a lot of fun, actually.
So, was Gorby completely unaware of this new COD that was coming out?
I think he was like sort of aware that it was happening, but maybe not that it was like, oh, it's here now, it's coming out now. I think he thinks of it as like a Christmas, even though it's mid-October when we're recording this. I think he thinks of it more like a late Thanksgiving. In the U.S., Thanksgiving is like the 4th Thursday in November. Yeah. So I'm guessing he was surprised it was coming out this soon. So he got it, and we've got Bolt. Our friend Bolt got it, and Cartel Teddy, and a couple other people that follow our streams and that we're friends with online. So we've been like jumping in and out all since yesterday. Well, it came out Thursday night, but I installed it that night, but I didn't play it until yesterday.
Why did it come out Thursday night?
So I think the first company I noticed was doing this was Nintendo. Because they are Japanese and they don't give a shit, right? They don't care about...
Yeah.
in
do what they
America,
want.
Exactly. In America, at least. And I can't say this is the case for all over the world. I only know my own experience. Traditionally, film... being a teenager buying CDs and cassette tapes back in the day, and buying and renting movies a lot. Tuesday was always a big release day, and if I remember, someone told me one time, and I believe it was a friend of mine who was a stock boy at Kmart back when we were in high school.
Oh, wow.
Said that it has something to do with the publishing deals, like the big publishers of the CD and media printers. Had this agreement to release everything on Tuesday and control the release date, because what would happen was certain stores would get the inventory in over the weekend and they would put it out immediately. And like stores that were known to turn inventory faster had a competitive advantage of selling the same SKUs. Okay. So if you knew that store A was going to put it out on Sunday night, then you wouldn't have to wait till Tuesday. You could get it before everybody else, and then the word would catch on. But that was back in the dinosaur days that I grew up in, when physical media was all we had.
Also, I think it was you that was telling me, I think it happened in Japan, where they won't release anything like I can't remember what day, it was like a Friday or on the weekend, because if it's a massive AAA game, people will go and buy it and then call in sick the following week.
Oh, that was not just any game. That was Dragon Quest.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, we talked about Dragon Quest last episode you and I were on, yeah. And that was an article I've read over and over again. In Japan, that game is so huge that like the government stepped in and said, "Guys, don't release this on a weekday. Release it on like a Friday night." So no, because they people like companies. It's sort of like the Super Bowl. in America. I don't know. It probably doesn't. You probably have something similar in England for like football, but the Super Bowl for American football is on a Sunday night always, and there's just tons of people calling the next day because they go to Super Bowl parties that don't end until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Typically, we have any like major sporting events on Saturdays, so
that's because you guys are smart. You guys have got your shit figured out, unlike America.
Traditionally, you guys, have, as far as I'm aware, always held like American football games on Sundays anyway, haven't you?
We have. They started. I'm going to get off on a huge tangent here. Yeah. They started having them Sunday afternoon. They the games right now start at 1 p.m. Eastern, and that was because all your crowd was back at church on Sundays. So they wanted to catch you when you got home from church, and people would be like, "Okay, church is over at noon, guys. We got to get home and watch football." And then that slid into having when it started being a huge cash cow for advertising dollars. They said, "Hey, why don't we let's be crazy. Let's save one of the games for Monday night. Just call it Monday Night Football." And then that started happening, and then they'll flex some holiday times. They'll have a Saturday Night Football because usually around holidays when they know families are getting together, they'll have they'll move a couple of matches to the night before. And then they'll have a Thanksgiving Day game and a Christmas Day game every now and again. I think Thanksgiving game is a doubleheader every year. But they all have Thursday Night Football now every week. NFL came out with their own network, and they said, we're going to take one game and we're going to have it on Thursday, and we're going to put the absolute worst announcers you've ever heard in football, and we're going to have them talk about our sport, because we care about our product.
Yeah.
I say that because my team was on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago, and there's for the Americans listening, you'll appreciate this, or anybody who watches a lot of football, or a lot of sporting events. There's a famous Major League Baseball announcer named Joe Buck, who is not my favorite announcer, is the nicest way I can say that. And he loves him some Tom Brady. So when the Colts were playing against Tom Brady, it was just like, oh my God, Tom Brady, for the whole the whole fight. And it was such a one-sided affair. We did lose by 2 touchdowns, but there was a time when we came back, and early on they were comparing my favorite quarterback on the Colts, Luck, the only quarterback on the Colts, with Tom Brady, early in the game. And then all of a sudden, Luck's stats started looking better. And guess what they stopped doing? Showing comparison stats.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, yeah.
I'm not salty about it.
No.
But anyway, all this is a way of saying that Call of Duty came out on a Thursday night it's supposed to be Thursday night at midnight because Friday is the new, anything that's going to be a huge release. That was a 5-minute side conversation about football and God knows what else.
You got that eventually, don't worry.
Excuse me. All this was a long way of saying that they're releasing games on Friday. Nintendo did it for Mario Party last week. They did it for Mario Odyssey, Zelda. All these big games they're releasing on Friday now because it's, if you think about it from the average, the most people who are buying it, not everybody works Monday through Friday, 5 days a week days, but most people have a couple of days off on the weekend. So releasing it on a Friday allows fans to get home and play it that night, or, maybe even Friday morning in this case. Yeah. So what GameStop in my area did was they released it early on Thursday night because rather than having their employees stay till a midnight release and then work till 2 a.m. to get everybody through, they're allowing them to have them, just stay open a couple hours later on a Thursday, and then they're closed by midnight.
Okay.
So I went up there, because I had just a ton of PS4 games that I've been playing recently that I talked about on the podcast, God of War and Spider-Man and just 3 or 4 others, and traded them in toward the digital copy of Call of Duty since I got it on PC.
Wow. Yeah.
And this is Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and to be fair and balanced in what I'm talking about here, and I hate using the you may not know, I have got a frog in my throat. Sorry, guys. You may not know, in America we have a news station that I hate, and fair and balanced is their slogan. So I got sick to my stomach just saying that. But in order to be upfront and honest about my review here, I have not played a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2.
Oh wow!
So wow! When was that?
Oh God, you might have to look this up because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now because I don't remember. Black Ops 2 came out November 12th, 2012. So, there we go.
Wow. So
it's been a day.
Yeah.
um, and you know, my initial impressions, and I've played probably 5 or 10 hours of it over the last 24 hours. I took a half day yesterday. I came home and started playing it. I played it with Chaos a bit. Then I played a couple of. I tried playing some of the solo stuff. There's some like not really story mode, but like a training mode that has story elements to it. They don't have a full on. This is the first one I think that they didn't put a full on single player campaign in, which I'm fine with. I never played one of them.
Yeah, that's
never enjoyed them. I'd always much rather play multiplayer, but
I don't know, because I know some people were really, really like apprehensive about it not having a campaign. Before it got released and they'd announced that there was not going to be any campaign mode on it, there were a few people that had some concerns with it not being included. But I'm kind of with you on that. I didn't mind playing the campaign, but I never finished one. I would get so far into it and then lose interest and then go and play the multiplayer.
My take on that, from what I've seen and read, and again, I'm like you, I've never finished one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out in whatever year that was. I mean, it'd be crazy if I could just pull it up right here on Wikipedia. Oh, here it is. November 7th, 2007. So that was like the year my daughter was born. So that was 11 years ago. And I played the single player on it probably halfway through, and it had some really good and interesting missions. And there was one on there, I don't remember the name of it, where you were in Chernobyl, I think, and you played like a sniper who was covered in a ghillie suit, and you ran around, and it was like a really awesome mission. And there was a scene where a real famous one, I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Modern Warfare 2, where you play as the Russian terrorists who go and shoot up an airport. That got a lot of media here.
Yes, I do remember that one.
So I think that the single player story is more iconic than it is like something that people really are looking out of the game. And I don't speak for everyone. I'm talking like in mass.
Yeah.
I think if you took every Call of Duty fan, the slice of the pie of the people who love the single player only is small enough that when Call of Duty Activision got together and said, hey, we're going to make another Black Ops, we want to put this huge PUBG clone in it. They said, well, where are we going to cut from? Because we're only going to get $60 out of this game. From most of the people that are buying it. And I think that's a decision that they made that hey, so people who love the single player mode of Call of Duty and hate PUBG, you're going to hate this release. Because they took out your favorite thing to put in your least favorite thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's two sides of the coin. You're either going to love the fact that they don't have a campaign and they brought in a Battle Royale, or hate the fact that they brought in a Battle Royale and taken a campaign out. But I think they've done it right at this point in time, because Battle Royales are massive at the moment. So I think from like probably a marketing viewpoint, they've probably made the right move.
From my personal standpoint, they have, because I haven't bought a Battle Royale, or I haven't bought a Call of Duty game in 10 years.
Yeah.
And I bought this one specifically because I like multiplayer shooters enough. I'm not going to pay $60 just to play Call of Duty, but I've never played a zombie mode, which I've heard lots of good things about.
Yeah.
There's a game. What was the name of that crazy game we played with a medieval look to it, where you swing an axe and sword at goblins and stuff? And that was basically a zombie mode game. I don't remember what it was called. How bad is that?
I don't know. There's too many.
Oh man, it's Vermintide.
Oh, I never played that one. Yeah.
You never played? Okay. Well, Gorby and I played Vermintide like a year ago. Vermintide 2, whenever it came out. And that was fun for a minute, but it had a lot of melee combat, and I did not care for it. But I thought, well, if it's got shooting mechanics, not shooty mechanics.
I thought I said shooty then.
This game is very shooty. It's got shooting mechanics. It's got the bread and butter Call of Duty, multiplayer, which God love it, God hate it. It is what it is. Like I was streaming it yesterday, getting my first impressions, and I go, "What do you think, Cherry?" And you're like, "It's Call of Duty."
Yeah, I mean, I quite liked the introduction that they did to the multiplayer, because as far as I know, they haven't done that kind of tutorial kind of area before.
That was optional, by the way.
Oh, it was?
I went into that. Basically, what you were seeing there was they sort of went And granted, this is not the first one to do it. I know. In my cursory view of like the series, getting ready for this podcast, I know they introduced like characters and almost class based abilities. What operators they call them in Rainbow Six. So what there's like a character screen where you can go like learn how each of their abilities work, and they give you a little bit of story leading up and up to a little tutorial mission, and then they throw you into a bot-filled multiplayer match to kind of teach you how to use what you've learned. And I think that's great for new players. You've got to question all the allocation of resources for a game this long in the tooth that needs an introductory. But, it could be like, do you remember when New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii came out, and then the Wii version, and they had all this like tutorial and training stuff in it? And I'm like, what is this for? Who needs this? And it turns out a lot of people did, because the game is so old that there's a lot of new people who didn't grow up with it.
I was going to say, I think it's a good idea that they've put the tutorial part in this one, because from what I saw when you were playing through it, there's a few things that are quite new. I saw the shield introduction as well.
Yep.
So I think I would be inclined to play that first, just to sort of feel the game again, because like you were saying, you haven't bought a Call of Duty for 6 years. So while it might be fairly familiar to you playing it, there are some things that you might not know about it. So I'm quite glad that they've done that.
I have to go off on a little bit of tangent and be complain about how good I have it. Okay,
God,
so bear with me. I've been streaming now for like a year and a half, right?
Okay.
16 months. I measure by how many subscriptions I get from BShiv, and I got 16 yesterday.
Wow.
And well, that's great. I'm really excited about it. I was going to play the single player campaign last night, or not campaign, but the single player training modes yesterday. Mm-hmm. I logged and I'm like, I'll do it on stream. I'm going to show off this new mode, and I swear I had 12 invites to, hey, can I join you? Let's go play regular. Let's go play all multiplayer. As I'm sitting here complaining about this, I've got 3 messages on Discord since we started recording this. Hey, let's go play Call of Duty. Let's play Call of Duty. Let's play Call of Duty. And I'm like, you ever have that as a streamer where like you want to go do a solo thing?
Yeah.
But you know better than to even stream it, because all you're going to do is get people going, let's go play multiplayer. Let's go play multiplayer. And maybe it's me. I have a real hard time with telling my friends like, I don't want to play with you right now. I'd rather play alone. Like to me, that's like hurtful, and I don't like doing it. But I think I need to start like just setting some rules up.
No, I totally agree with you on that, because I was thinking about this the other day, because I've been playing Assassin's Creed, which we'll come on to soon when you finish talking about this, and it's a solo game. There's no multiplayer in it, and I was thinking on an evening when I finish work, I kind of want to go back and play it, but I have all these invites to go and play Siege with Mel Parkey or Nancy or Gary, and I sometimes, when I'm playing Siege, if I'm getting particularly salty out of the game, I'm like, I could be playing Assassin's Creed right now and be enjoying it rather than having my butt handed to me. Yeah. So I totally understand, yeah.
I could be playing a game I like instead of punching holes.
So true.
Which I'm glad you brought that up, because here's when it comes to my view of Call of Duty, I've really enjoyed it 24 hours in. And I always do. Any new multiplayer shooter that's got gadgets and things to acquire. Call of Duty introduced, I don't know when they did it, probably with Modern Warfare, this perk system and the leveling up and the they used to call it kill streak rewards. Now they call it point streaks reward. I don't know.
Oh, really?
They call it different stuff, but you can call in the UAV, you can call in the airstrikes and the helicopters and the nuke. I don't think there's a nuke. I haven't seen it yet, if there is, but
I hope there is.
You have to level up all the different characters, all the different, every gun you unlock, you have to like level it up. So there's that carrot on the stick that keeps you like motivated to play. But when it comes to like the Blackout version, I was getting my butt handed to me, because I'm not like, my muscle memory in how Call of Duty's engine works is not there. So like I was losing firefights. Chaos and I were playing and we're just getting wrecked, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought I need to go play the regular multiplayer and kind of get in that rhythm and that zone and get my muscle memory back.
Yeah.
And it worked. Then I went last night and played the Blackout mode with Bolt and Gorby and did a lot better.
Oh, right.
So that's good. But what I realized is when I play PUBG, and I didn't think about this until last night. When I play PUBG, I can get really salty. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen me stream, but I get mad sometimes.
What?
And
No.
No. But anyway, in PUBG, you have a good 20 minutes minimum after you die to cool off. Like, if you die to some crazy random bullshit in PUBG, you at least, if you're playing by yourself, you at least have to go queue up again and then drop for another plane. But if you're playing with a group, you sometimes get to watch everyone else go on without you for a while. In Call of Duty, you're right back at it.
Really?
And yeah, when you die, you just spawn again, right? So what I've noticed is like if you can picture a barometer of rage, my my barometer tops out and then it doesn't get a chance to fall all the way back down.
Oh,
so
no.
I played for probably 2 hours yesterday with teammates and you know, when you're streaming, I don't think of it as stress, but there's something that kind of, you know, accumulates while you're streaming of like, you got to maintain chat. You got to keep conversations going. You're talking with your friends on the headset.
You got to make yourself look good and not look like a noob while you're on stream.
Exactly. Oh God, I'm so bad at the game. I had so many people going, so when are you going pro, Crunky? I'm like, fuck you very much, people. Like, I'm like telling people, I know I'm terrible. And you get like, after a couple hours, you get like fatigued of going between chat and going between game.
Yeah.
And you're just like, like you said about, I'd rather not be mad right now. I'd rather be doing something else. I stopped my, exactly. I stopped my stream last night, about, I don't know, almost 6 o'clock after I streamed for a few hours. And I had fully intended on coming back, but then I went and made dinner. Wife got home. We started drinking and then we were like, hey, let's watch a movie instead. So that's what we did. We ended up watching, have you ever seen Legend with Tom Cruise?
No.
Yeah, you don't like fantasy stuff, so you probably wouldn't like it. But it's basically goblins and demons and knights in shining armor. But it's from the 80s. That's probably why you don't know what it is.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's one of his first films, I know. But we had never seen it, and Molly sat down. We all watched it as a family. So we did some... After I murdered everyone in Call of Duty Black Ops, I went and had some quality family time.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, but so I never came back to it, and mostly because at that point I probably had too many beers to be productive in Call of Duty.
Okay.
But I did, after everyone went to bed, I was like, this is how I know I like the game. It was midnight. I'd had 4 or 5 beers, we'll say, on the podcast, so it doesn't sound like I'm an alcoholic. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come up here and I'm going to play a couple solo rounds. And nobody was online. I can get a couple in without people asking me to play. And played for probably an hour. Yeah. And then I played right before when I messaged you when I got up this morning, like, hey, can we record, you know, sidebar. We recorded a little early today. Earlier than normal because Cherry's got something going on tomorrow. But I was like, hey, can we do it a little bit earlier? And when you were, you said, yeah, give me like 30 minutes. I was like, sure. I jumped on and played until you got here. So I'm like, I've got it bad, man. I got it bad. Man.
So is that just purely the blackout mode that you're playing at the moment? Or did you mix some multiplayer in?
I'm jumping around. I played the zombie mode for a bit.
I saw you play some of that on stream last night. How are you feeling about the zombie?
I have the same problem with the zombie mode as I do with Vermintide. I think it's sort of like any new game. You have to like get used to the maps. Like I don't even understand what the hell is going on because this is a mode that's been around for what? 5 years maybe? Maybe longer?
Yeah.
So it's a mode that like was an add-on pack to one of the games I had, maybe Black Ops 2. There was a zombie mode. I never played it, or maybe it came out as DLC. That's why I never played it. I'm not sure. Yeah. But like they drop you in an arena and zombies are coming and you shoot them. You're like, okay. And then you run out of bullets. You're like, what do I do? And there's like a glowy picture of a gun on a wall and you go up to and spend these points you're somehow accumulating, probably from killing the zombies, to get new guns or new ammo. And then there's some of the markers have like doors that open. And like, well, which one do you go? No one tells you. And when Bolt and Gorby and I all jumped in and that we got stuck with a randomer.
Oh no.
And we don't have voice chat on. We're like, follow the randomer. Maybe he knows what the hell's going on. And so my first impression of that was that we played probably 2 rounds of it was that I could see the potential in it. Like it looks like it's got some good gameplay to be had and some deep, like, a real deep game you don't understand or enjoy the first time, necessarily the first time you play.
Yeah.
But it has that glimmer of, okay, now I know what's happening. Now I know where to go and I've learned this map. That's the same thing with the multiplayer. My best round I had was earlier today and it was maybe the third time I played the map. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember this map. I've been playing control points on the regular multiplayer where you have to go to, you pick A or B and you go either attack or defend the control points. And I'm like, oh, I know this map. I know where the areas of ingress are. I know where the good sniper spots are. So
yeah, one of the things about Call of Duty is that when I started playing Black Ops 3, I played the absolute hell out of that game, and I found it was very heavy on the map knowledge. So if you know, because they have certain spawn points in the maps, if you know where the other team is going to spawn, you can just go there and time it so when they spawn, you're in a better position to actually go and kill them. So yeah, if it's similar to... Actually, I wanted to ask you about the multiplayer maps. How many have you played? How many different ones have you played so far?
Ooh, let's say 6, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere more than 3, but I don't think more than 6. I bought when I took my PS4 games into trade, it was like $120 a credit.
Wow.
So I bought the deluxe version, just figuring, you know what, if I'm going to play this with any kind of length of time, I don't want to be limited by how many maps are available. So I went ahead and, because I guess there were maps you could only get if you have the DLC. I don't really understand how it works. I just was like, yeah, that sounds good, GameStop employee, give it to me.
Yeah, because they did one. They did one with Black Ops 3 where if you bought some DLC, you got the Nuketown map, which is a really cool little map.
That's what this came with. Modern Warfare had Nuketown map. I remember playing that map before.
I think that's where they like kind of got it from. They added it from Modern Warfare to Black Ops 3.
Well, it's funny. The Blackout PUBG clone mode has an island, and it's called Nuketown.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and it's also like a very hot drop as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now that there's only 80 people on the plane in that one, or the twin choppers, and it's very much a. It reminds me. I'm not gonna say Fortnite in any other way other than that. Like, it seems like the balance of how many players are there and how many hot spots there are is pretty good, because I've never landed alone in that game, ever. Yeah. And Gorby and I were like, let's just go to that shed over there on the hill that's by nothing, and there was somebody there. So Jesus. And one thing I've run into here and there, we landed at a lighthouse last night, and there were zombies in it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so like I don't know exactly what the mechanic is, but the zombie hit me a few times, and then I got wrecked by a player. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah. It's basically.
At least initially.
Don't they have like it's like a mystery box that they have, so you can get like a really really decent weapon. But the downside
probably right.
is that zombies will spawn near you, so you have to weigh up your chances of either getting killed by zombies or potentially getting a really, really good weapon. I think they spawn until the mystery box disappears or someone loots it. So, yeah,
I have not seen that yet, so that's good to know.
But yeah,
well, I'll have to try that today and let you know what I find out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I'd have to play it more. Yeah. To see whether it works within the the battle royale setting or not.
I like the idea of it. I like when games or game companies, especially like all the battle royale clones, all have their own unique twist on it. And I think that's important, because if they just cloned PUBG like the initial release of Ring of Elysium, which just felt like a cloned PUBG with a different game engine, but when they brought it to America, I know this is a sore spot because you can't play it.
No, it's not in Europe yet.
They changed, like, you don't even jump out of a plane anymore.
Oh, really?
You pick your spawn point.
You just spawn on the ground?
Yeah, you pick this. You pick there's 3 base classes, and you pick your like snowboarder, windsurfer, and mountain climber, and that's like a certain loadout you can do. You can interact with the environment. There's these ropes that only mountain climbers can go up. There's big sleddy hills that you can go down, and I just said sleddy. Big sleddy hills you can go down on a snowboard.
Yeah.
And then there's areas that are obvious you can jump off of and like coast with and you can keep using it, like your hang glider. Yeah. You can jump off a building and hang glide anywhere you want there's a mountainous area. It's covered with snow. So you just pick the grid where you want to spawn, and it actually shows you where everyone else is spawning too, so you can kind of like spread out.
Yeah.
And so it's I love when they do new unique stuff like that. Like Call of Duty's Blackout mode has these like temporary boosters you can pick up. Those may be from Call of Duty, and one that I never played, maybe Ghosts, I don't know. But you can one of them like highlights loot on the map when you're within a certain radius.
Yeah.
Another one shows you vehicles. One gives you a little bit of like faster reload time. Another one gives you 20% more ammo on pickup. Little perks like that are kind of neat. I don't think they're so far that anything I've been able to unlock in that mode I think everything is purely cosmetic. I don't think it gives you any kind of advantage. Like Call of Duty's multiplayer mode, the more you play, the stronger you get. Like when I didn't play at midnight release, I played like 1 p.m. the next day. Maybe it was later than that. It was like 3. And when I got on the game, I could already tell like people who had the perks to be like tougher armor because I'd die in one shot and I'd be emptying a clip in these assholes. I'm like, come on. So
do you still have the leveling system in the Battle Royale then?
Yeah, I only know that because Gorby and I were level 1 and we were making fun of Bolt because he's already level 2, which means he's way superior to the game than us. And then he showed us, he went and killed like an entire squad by himself while we were dead. And we're like, oh, okay, you really are better.
Wow.
But he got it at midnight and has been playing nonstop since.
Is there any perks to leveling, or is it just there?
I don't have enough time under my belt to weigh in on whether the system is 100% cosmetic, but that's what my initial look into it was like. This looks mostly cosmetic. Like you can unlock different skins for your character and different outfits. You can unlock different character models. Like, do you remember playing in the beta? There was a guy who had like a suit on, like a tuxedo.
Yeah.
He was an unlock later on at like level 10. I don't know, right. But so I can't tell you. The jury's out on whether or not they're going to introduce any kind of like a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who says that cosmetic is not a competitive advantage, even though like factually it is. If you can,
well, it depends what they offer. I mean, if it's like a ghillie suit, I mean,
right,
a bit different.
Well, PUBG introduced those streamer clothes, and one streamer, like pro streamer outfit, is literally a dark green hoodie and pants.
Oh, that's not the one that you've got.
Oh yeah, it is. It's basically just a ghillie suit that doesn't have a ghillie on it. It's just green. Yeah. It's you can hide in bushes real easily with that thing on.
I mean, if they keep it as simple as that, then that's fine. Because I think it would be wholly
words. This is where you talk about the
My
game.
brain isn't functioning today. It wouldn't be beneficial to the game if they started leveling people in Battle Royale, which gave you perks, because I just think it would be so unfair. And I don't know like what kind of perks they would give you that could benefit you in the game, in the Battle Royale situation anyway.
That's my opinion, is that competitive advantage shouldn't come from time played.
Yeah.
But if you want to be real about it, look at Call of Duty as a franchise. Since Modern Warfare came out and they started giving you perk system, better armor, better attachments from leveling up, you cannot deny it's the most successful, one of those, if not one of the most successful shooters of all time. And it basically rewarded you for playing longer. You got a competitive advantage for leveling up.
But that's fine in the multiplayer situation. I completely understand that. And that's always been there as far as I know. But in the Battle Royale setting, I don't think it would work it wouldn't work.
I don't know. I wonder, because I've been playing like MMOs that are multiplayer where you level up, and it seems to me that draw, that carrot on a stick of the power you'll get if you put in the time will give you a competitive advantage is enough of a motivator to keep the majority of the people playing. Because if you ask somebody, hey, would you like to play a shooter where when you land everyone has an advantage over you? You're like, no. But if you ask them, would you like to play a shooter that if you put in enough time you'll have a competitive advantage over everyone else? Everyone says, yeah, that sounds great. And I just wonder. I wonder if and I'm not advocating for it to do so. I would rather not see it. But I wonder if a PUBG clone or a Battle Royale game came out that gave you competitive advantage for leveling up, how well it would really do, how much it would take off.
I don't know. I think it would annoy me too much, because eventually you'd get people that have just been pouring hours and hours and hours into it and just be so OP that they can just wipe everyone out.
Like Call of Duty, yeah. It's exactly what happens. You don't go get Call of Duty a year into it and go, I'm going to go play online multiplayer, because you know they're going to wreck your shit as soon as you land.
Yeah.
But so let's just talk overall level Call of Duty. From what I've played so far, I got my, I know I got the deluxe version, but I would say it's worth $60 if you have a stable of friends to play with that, like Bolt and Gorby, who both have messaged me so far while we were recording this. It's great to have, it's a great game to have friends, to play with. And because there's 3 different modes now that are fun to play with friends, I would highly endorse it. I don't know if I would endorse it. It was just a standalone single player zombies multiplayer, but because I don't care about the single player, but man, I love some battle royale, and so far, you're gonna find this funny. I've played it for maybe, like I said, 10 hours, and I'm gonna say zombies the least. I think I played 2 sessions. I played battle royale and the multiplayer about 50-50, and the battle royale is the weakest of the 3.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that it's terrible. It's just like it hasn't drawn me in. And it could be because I just don't have my sea legs yet, my Call of Duty legs under me yet. Maybe I'll play it next time and have a really good time. I played a solo one last night and got a 5. So I got top 5. Yeah. And the guy that killed me won. So I feel good about that. You can spectate them to the end, but I would give it an endorsement. I know it's kind of like hipster now to, Call of Duty sucks. Well, I have good friends who I respect their opinions of. Snuffus being one who was on the podcast last week. He hates Call of Duty, will not get it. So it's like, hey, we're all getting it. I just let you know we're playing if you want. And he's like, nope, not happening.
Yeah, that's probably Call of Duty for you. It's very divisive.
But enough about that indie game. Let's talk about the other indie game that you've been playing.
Oh, yeah. A small little franchise, a series of games that have called Assassin's Creed. You've heard of it?
Yeah. I've heard of it. I think there was a game that came out in 2007 called Assassin's Creed. Right. That's the last one I played.
Oh, okay.
I bought that game I rented it. I rented it from Blockbuster. That tells you how long ago that was.
I remember that.
Wow. Assassin's Creed for Blockbuster and for the Xbox 360, and I put the disc in and it booted up, and there's like a intro screen, press start, and there's like this loading screen that shows whatever his name is, the Assassin's Creed guy with the white hood with the pointy end hood on it, running around in they call it the Animus.
Yeah.
I remember that because I was like, what kind of game is this? You're in a machine, but you're in the past. Yeah. And I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I was going to give it a try. But the game that I had some kind of problem with the disc, a scratch on it, because it just stuck in that loading screen forever. So then I took the game back, and got a different copy. They had multiple copies of Assassin's Creed in at the time. They gave me a different copy. I took it home, I put it in, and my Xbox red ring was in the middle of the first level.
Assassin's Creed killed your Xbox.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the red ring and the scratch disc are Assassin's Creed's fault, but I never was able to get into one after that. I never tried. But I think, there's a lot about Assassin's Creed that I like the stealthiness, the third-person action mode. But I will say, and I'm not trying to steal your thunder, this is your review, but this one you're playing is the first one in a long time that I looked and went, I kind of want to play that. All the rest of them, I'm like, it just looks like Assassin's Creed. Run around town, stalking people. But yours, the one you've been playing, I've been watching you stream it all week. It looks really good.
I'm not kidding. I was in the same boat as what you were just saying then. I have not been bothered about Assassin's Creed. It's never been on my radar before at all. Yeah. I knew they existed, but it was never something that I wanted to play. If a new one was coming out, I'd be like, okay, it's there, but I'm going to go play something else. So it's fine. But the reason that I played, I got this one as I've been playing it all week, was because of our friend, Cynic Chris. I drop in on his, streams quite often. He's usually on in the morning, and he picked this up early. He got the, early access, which was, I think, 2 days before release. So he was playing it last week.
If you guys are on Twitch, go to twitch.tv/CYNI and then just the name Chris. That's who we're talking about.
He's got a great C on it as well.
Oh, Cynic Chris C. I'm sorry, yes.
So I started watching him play it last week, and my first impression was a bit meh. I was like, okay, it's Assassin's Creed, but I just want to hang out in Chris's chat because it's a really fun place to be. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like half watching it, and then slowly, ever so slowly, I was like, this looks quite good. Oh, I want to know what happens. Oh no, that happened. So it kind of like drew me in when I was watching Chris. And it's entirely the sole reason that I went and bought it, just from watching him play it. And I'm so into this game right now. It is unbelievable. I've never...
You hear that? You hear that, Ubisoft? Go ahead and give Chris some money.
Give me some money. So yeah, I've never played Assassin's Creed before, and for some reason, this one has got its claws in me. And
wow.
From reading reviews and watching YouTube videos on this game, it seems like it's a bit of a different style of Assassin's Creed from the previous titles that they've released. This one has a lot more kind of RPG elements to it, so I don't know if that has a factor in why I want to play it.
Okay.
So there's you'll have known this, Crumb, because you've probably watched me play some of it, but in regards to the RPG elements, there's a lot of character development, dialogue options. You can choose different responses where, like, you can be the bad guy or you can be the good guy, or a balanced response. And there's also a skill progression as well. So you obviously, like in the RPGs, where you get skill trees where you can put ability points into and learn different kind of abilities. There's also that in it as well, which I really enjoy. That style of gaming. So I think it's taken a different route to previous Assassin's Creeds, which to me isn't a bad thing because I really love this game right now.
Yeah, I've noticed it's more, like you said, it's more RPG than Assassin's Creed has been, which I think my impression, and I've not played a lot of them, but I've seen and I've watched reviews. Like, I keep waiting for that really good one. I said I haven't played one since the first one. I did on the Wii U play like the shittiest version of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Was on the Wii U, and it was called Black Flag.
Oh yeah,
and I played it so little I don't even remember it. But this is actually the one that takes place the longest ago. This takes place 431 to 404 BC.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
Yes.
All the rest of them are after. Well, I think Origins might be a little bit BC too.
That's in Egyptian times. This is in Greek times. So. Yeah.
So it's definitely the most striking and unique one that I've seen. And it's funny because we've been talking on your stream all week that as good as the game is, some of the voice acting just makes you scratch your head.
Yeah. Again, I was watching some reviews on YouTube about it, and they were making a comparison that to Red Dead Redemption 2, which is coming out later this month, quite soon actually. And they were saying that Ubisoft have made the correct decision to release this now instead of after Red Dead, because I think people are just going to get so sucked into that, everything else is going to get forgotten. But they'd had access to like a beta or a demo version, some demo play of Red Dead Redemption 2, and comparison in voice acting is just unremarkable. Like Assassin's
one's a Hollywood film, the other one's a cartoon.
Exactly. Yes. Like, I'll give it credit. Assassin's Creed. The main characters that you meet in it are fantastic. I'll talk about them in a sec, but some of the like side characters that you encounter, as Crunk says, the voice acting is ridiculously ropey. It's like someone that worked on the production crew for one day's mum's father-in-law or something like that just happened to be in the room at the time. It's like, oh, you can read these lines.
Hey, you, come here.
Exactly, yeah. So,
what?
If you can just get past that, to be fair, it's quite funny. I do listen to him and just be like, oh, this is so bad, but it's so funny at the same time.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy that kind of finds your character as a baby? And
Marcos, yes.
He is the worst.
He's definitely the worst.
One that, like, every time he's on screen, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this game.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters that you'll encounter early on, and basically, he found I was playing as Cassandra. There's two options of that. I'll come to that in a sec. But he basically finds your character early on as a kid and takes you under his wing and practically saves you, but that doesn't, like, cover for his ridiculous voice acting. He sounds, Grunt hit the nail on the head with this in chat. He sounds like, a Disney character, a la, you said it was the parrot from Aladdin. Yes. He sounds like that. And every time I have to, interact with him, I just facepalm so hard because...
Famously voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
No, yeah. Because he's so over the top and his voice does not match the way he looks at all.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, there are people whose voice don't fit them in real life. So,
but this is a video game. You should be able to match voices to characters. No? Well,
not only this is a video game, this is a AAA blockbuster video game that has production budgets that rival Hollywood movies, and yet, let's go. Maybe that was a really expensive voice actor, and he had a bold choice. This is really good. This is really going to work, guys. Trust me on this.
It's the wrong choice. So anyway, I wanted to talk, just mention the choice of the characters that you can play as well, which is this is the first Assassin's Creed that has given you the option to play as a male or female character. You can play as Alexios or Cassandra, and from talking to people that have played this game, I don't think anyone has played as Alexios. He's the male character.
Yeah, you have.
No, I haven't. No, I'm playing as Cassandra.
I saw a streamer playing it last night. I'm trying to remember who it was, and they were playing as the male character. And I was like, "Oh, who is that guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the character if you pick the male version." Well, it took them 22 games, but on the 22nd game they released, they could play as a female character now.
And I almost think that they should have just released it with just Cassandra. But I don't know. Maybe it's just as an option.
I'm a big fan that they put the choice in there. I think they should. There was a rumor when Breath of the Wild was about to come out that you're going to be able to play as, this is early on when people were doing mad speculation. There was an idea that maybe you could swap. Princess could be the hero, and then you'd have to rescue Link, or vice versa. And I thought, man, that would be a really smart thing to do, because the Sunny D, my wife, she loves playing games where you can be a female protagonist. She's taken it to the point where she gets annoyed when a game, or not necessarily annoyed, but like disappointed. Yeah. If a game comes out and there's not an option, she's like, oh man, I wanted to play this too.
I think it's probably the better call that you've just said, that it was wise to include Alexios as well as Cassandra. But I instantly knew that I was always going to play as Cassandra because she's such a badass. She's ridiculously cool.
And just before I get yelled at by people listening, there may be a female protagonist somewhere in the 22 games, because there are versions I've never even seen before, like the PSP and Vita and DS games. Maybe there's stretches where you can play as a girl in there. I was just making a joke, really.
There are a lot of Assassin's Creed games.
22. I counted them up. Wow. 22 in 10 years, 11 years.
Really?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
But they have said that they're going to take a break after this one. For a little bit before the next one, if there is going to be a next one released. So don't expect to see a new one.
Yeah, they had 20 of them between 2007 and 2016. 20 games came out, and then they've only put out one a year since then. So that's cool.
I would be interested. I know this has only just come out, but I'd be interested to see where they take it next. Like, how far back can you... What, they're going to go to, like, I don't know, caveman times next? Like, how far back can you go?
Go back to biblical times.
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting here thinking that, didn't Origins just come out? No, it came out last year.
But it was the end of last year. It was probably about the same time as this year.
I was going to say, it's the end of this year. It's been 12 months, and it feels like, man, they just released that.
It really does. So they must have been in the midst of making this while that was...
Yeah, I think they do the same thing that... I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think they do the same thing that Call of Duty does, is that they have like 2-3 development houses, and they'll just have them constantly working on the next sequel. So like, if it's a 3-year span to get one made, then they're already making the next one. Whoever's going to release the next one's already been in production probably for a year and a half, 2 years. We should talk to our friend Bunny Ball about that. He probably has a better idea. But I actually did talk to him about that off stream. One day we were playing with Chaos, and I think we both got on like 5 or 10 minutes earlier, and I was talking about, I wanted to ask you, what's it like, because he works, I can't mention who he works for on the podcast, but he works for a big game company, and big AAA game company that's released games.
He works for Ubisoft.
No, he doesn't work for Ubisoft, but he knows about these like timetables and like what it takes to get a big game like this made. You've heard too many chefs in the kitchen. You can have that when you've got a project lead, a design coordinator, and all these people that if that structure is not set up right, then some of the vision can get lost because they'll have sunk assets into something that somebody doesn't like. These are all things that if you've ever worked in an office or an organization of any kind, you've seen this play out. The hierarchy of people working together sometimes is dysfunctional, and that doesn't exclude video game production.
Yeah, it makes me wonder actually if they've got someone different. I don't actually know the ins and outs of the production team on this one, but I don't know if there was someone included or someone different that had worked on this, given that it's a different feel to the previous games.
This one was made by Ubisoft Quebec, which is in Canada.
Wow.
You're welcome. Other games that they've made, that Ubisoft Quebec has made, they made Rainbow Six Vegas. Have you ever played that?
No, but I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, that's a great game. They made Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands for the Wii.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood they made. Assassin's Creed Revelations, which was on PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One. They made Assassin's Creed 3, which I've never played. No. And they made Black Flag, so there you go.
Oh, so they have their hand in Assassin's Creed 4.
They also made Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed Unity, and Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Oh, so shut up. So they've done pretty much everything then.
Yeah, they also did that game For Honor. These guys have been busy.
Yeah.
They worked with Trey Parker and Matt Stone to make South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Wow.
Yeah. And I skipped over a lot. If you want to hear some of the lesser known stuff, they made Might and Magic Duel of Champions in 2012, which is a game, was I think one of the better received Might and Magic games. If you never played any of them, they're notoriously buggy messes. But, they made games in 2009 called Battle of Giants. I've never heard of that game. It was a DS game, it looks like. Open Season for GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and PS2. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
That was a film. That was an animated film movie an animated film movie. You know how we all like to pile in the car and go see a film movie every now and again. I think it was a movie tie-in game is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made Marvel Avengers Battle for Earth in 2012.
Marvel what, sorry? So, Avengers?
Marvel Avengers Battle for Earth. I speak good, Cherry. Don't you mock me.
It's too early for you, Quinn.
No, it's not too early. I'm the one who wanted to do it this early.
So yeah.
But
anyway, good game.
Game good. Movie films.
One thing that they have introduced, actually, I was just looking at my notes now. They've introduced, I think, for this one specifically, they've put in 2 different types of modes that you can choose before starting the game. Which is one was called Guided and one which is Exploration. So essentially, the Guided one, which is one that I'm playing because I've never played Assassin's Creed before, it will guide you. It does what it says on the tin. It will show you markers of where you have to go and things you have to do and people you have to see, etc. Whereas Exploration mode, which is what Chris was playing, is very, very minimal. So it again is what it is. It's concentrated more on exploring the map and places. So it depends which
great.
Which kind of mode you feel comfortable with, whether you want your hand holding a little bit or you just want free reign throughout the map.
So can I ask, is it a thing you can toggle off and on, or is it a thing you have to always leave on?
Pass. I can't remember.
Don't know. Okay, because I could see that being cool. Like I want the like if it was me just like picking my own game mode, I would want the exploration mode, and then when I got frustrated and lost, turn that on and go, okay, I'm supposed to go here, and then turn it back off.
Yeah,
That would be
if
nice.
it is that way around, then that's very well done. But it did say at the beginning, but I honestly can't remember what it said.
Gotcha. Patrick Kloss was the managing director of this game. He led a number of employees of 500.
Oh.
500 people made this game. Wow.
I don't know why.
That
seems relatively small to me.
I don't know. Maybe they have because it's a annual franchise. Maybe they have like game engine stuff that they don't have to necessarily make from the ground up each time. I don't know, but just think about 500 people making this video game for you to go, it's okay.
Yeah, for some reason, it just popped into my head when I was playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. When I finished that, I was watching the credits, and it seemed like they went on forever.
They did. Spider-Man was the same way.
I think, was it Gary that timed it? And they said it was like 22 minutes or like 40 minutes or something stupid. Credits worth.
It was Chichen.
Oh, the Chichen.
Yeah, and it was over 25 minutes, if I remember right.
Who wants to sit through that? I know, well, fair enough. A lot of people have worked on the game, but it's a long time.
That's what you got a paycheck for. We don't all need to sit through 25 minutes of credits. Come on.
But actually, on the topic of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think it was Crunk that was talking to me when I first started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I am more in love with this game than Shadow of the Tomb Raider, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
As much as I hate to say it, I think Assassin's Creed is what I wished Tomb Raider was, in the sense of like gameplay and reliability and stability and all that kind of thing. So yeah, from that marker alone, that's how much I love this Assassin's Creed.
But how much of that is the characters versus the gameplay? Do you just like the actual story and gameplay of this, or do you like the actual characters?
The story I'm not too invested in at the moment. It's generally there is a war going on in the Greek islands between the Spartans and the Athenians, and you're part of that, and you obviously have to decide which side you want to be on, and that's pretty much it. Story-wise, like character-wise, I really like Cassandra. I don't know if that's down to, I think probably the writing and the voice acting as well. The voice actress for Cassandra is amazing. And the writing itself has so much humor. It's incredible. Like, for a game, for a computer game, it's on par with like a film script. It's really good.
Yeah, you were telling me. You didn't tell me. I was watching you play. You told a person that they were ugly or something like that.
Oh.
What was the gal that was talking? And you were trying to like cheer her up, and one of the options you could say was just like super mean.
Oh yeah. I obviously did that for the lols, but again, that is the dialogue options that you get. So I think she was upset because someone had called her ugly or something. I can't remember what, but. There was an option to be really harsh, quite kind, and, or there was just one in the middle of the road. And because I think this was quite early on in the game, so I was still getting a feel for it, but I was just like, what the hell? And then I went for the ugly option, or the really bad option, calling her ugly. And, it was just, it's just really comical to see the reactions from the other player, but also it gives, kind of like another reason to go back and play it as well. So you can choose the different options to see what happens. That
prompted me to ask, do those have you seen those decisions impact story or events or what happens?
I think on a small scale, yes. But I do know that someone in chat was one of our friends, I can't remember who it was, but one of our friends was telling us that there was a point in the game where a decision that you chose would ultimately affect something far down the line. But I haven't got to that yet.
I love when games do that. Like, one of the games I've been thinking about replaying when I find 50 hours to sit around and just do with is replaying Mass Effect on stream, because the Mass Effect series is famous for that. Like, literally, how you decide things determines. Like, there's a stable of characters you take with you in your party. And I say your party, but you go on missions. You can select who you're taking each time. But on your ship, you've got I don't remember the exact number, but let's just say 8 different people, and you can take 3 or 4 of them with you every time you go. There are decisions you can make where they die and they're gone. They're not only gone for the rest of that game, they're gone for the next game in the series.
No way.
So if you're playing, I think between 2 and 3 is the biggest continuation. If your favorite character, and sometimes it's obvious what's going to happen, sometimes it's not. Like if you don't know the story, you can make a decision that you think is in their best interest, and then they die, and then you have to live with that for the rest. And that's what makes it one of the best like story arc games that's replayable. But I was just going to see how much like that this was. I didn't mean to go.
No. I think you're probably spot on there. It's very much that Mass Effect feel, whereas it doesn't particularly have the rebound effect on your character. Obviously, in Mass Effect, you if you choose the bad options, you start changing, and your character physical appearance starts to change. So there's not that in it, obviously, because it's not Mass Effect. But in terms of choosing the options, I think some of them have big consequences. So, yeah, very similar.
Is that how Cassandra got those scars on her arms? I
still haven't discovered that yet. I'm hoping there is.
And speaking of those arms, Jesus, that girl lifts weights.
Oh my God, she's so hench. I'm not kidding.
I've never heard somebody describe this.
Yeah, she is.
I believe you. Don't hurt me.
If you guys haven't seen Cassandra's arms, just go and look them up because they are mad buff.
Or just go look at Mr. Universe for the last 30 years. You see what her arms look like. She's like one of those. She looks like a female bodybuilder. Yes. And that's probably not the right way to say that. She looks like a bodybuilder that happens to be a woman. That game, I'm really impressed with it. But my feedback as a viewer of your stream is that they make some of the most interesting choices with people's faces. In that game.
Yeah,
there's 3 or 4 characters, and I'm like, who was in Ubisoft Montreal and said, "This is the one we're going with, guys."
Yeah.
There's a woman whose jaw, like an old lady, her jaw looks like a cow catcher on a train. Yeah. She's just like this massive jaw. I'm like, that's a dude in drag. I know it is.
I can't remember her name, but she was the Bowyer that you come across. And she recruits you to go and do a quest for her or a little mission for her. And I didn't notice it until you said. And then I could not unsee it after you'd said. So, yeah, I totally mean.
Sorry.
Some of the character models are a bit squiffy, but I think also that comes along with the lip syncing as well, with the mouth movement, with the voice acting as well. It's not the best, but it's okay. It's okay.
Right. It's not as good as like Tomb Raider was.
No. Even, I think even the cutscenes, sometimes you just kind of think, "Oh, you didn't say that," but I know you said it because it's on the subtitles. But yeah, their mouth doesn't show that's what they're saying. Now you're playing this on PC, yes. Right? Have you had any performance issues with Assassin's Creed yet? No. This game runs so smooth. I think I'm streaming it on like a medium setting. I think if I really wanted to, I could probably put my settings up a little bit more. But again, in comparison to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I played previously to this, there is no comparison because this runs so much better. Tomb Raider was a hot pile of garbage because it was that DRM they used. But I didn't mention it when I talked about Call of Duty earlier. But the beta of Call of Duty Blackout was really wonky and did not stream well. Did not even run well when I wasn't streaming. They fixed all that. It's great. I've not touched anything. I've streamed it. I played it in windowed mode. So just talking about Assassin's Creed performance made me remember that I forgot to bring it up. I do remember when you tried in the free weekend when it came out. When you had access to it, you tried streaming it. You were going to say beta. I was going to say beta, yeah. When you tried streaming it, you were running into a lot of performance issues. I remember seeing that on stream. So, recommend Assassin's Creed? It depends what you're into. If you're into muscle-bound women, definitely there is that. Or men. I mean, there is a choice of Alexius. The thing is, with this game, I think it's a bit... it's taken a step away from this traditional, I'd say traditional in quotation marks, Assassin's Creed. games before.
If a game's been being released for over a decade,
Yeah.
it's traditional.
Okay, fair enough.
But like by definition, one a year at least.
Okay.
Annualized franchise is what we call that in the industry.
Okay. So if you played the previous Assassin's Creed games, I wouldn't go into this one expecting the same thing. This is slightly different in what we've talked about is that it's there's more of an RPG feel to it. There is still Assassin's elements to it. You still have to do stealth missions and stuff like that and collect things, but there's a lot more in-depth elements where you have to level your character, do ability trees, upgrade your weapons, things like that, which maybe people that have played previous Assassin's Creed might not be used to. But if you like that kind of features in games, I would definitely give this one a try because it's so much fun. I can't overestimate how well this game is done. It's a lot of fun if you like that kind of game.
Nice. So it's got a lot of good, fun combat in it too. I've seen you fighting animals and people. And
the combat in it. I think I commented on this on the last stream I did previously because I was in a heavy fight with a mercenary, which basically a mercenary is someone who has is out to kill you because you've got a bounty on your head. And during the fight, I had the biggest smile on my face because I was like, this feels so good. It's properly solid and really well done. Like, it's open world combat, so there's no like turn-based or anything like that, but it's just really well done. Yeah, I can't say anything more than that.
So there you guys go. Go out and support these small independent upstart companies, Activision and Ubisoft. They really need your money. You know, I joke, and I wanted to close the episode talking just a little bit about this, that there can be this like sentiment against the big companies sometimes. EA, I'm notoriously shitty with EA, Activision, Ubisoft, because they do what seems to us to be lazy cash grabs, not innovate as much. But when they do innovate, when they do try something new and you like it, I think it's important to recognize that. And that's one of the reasons we're doing both these episodes today, or both these games in one episode, is because that theme of these are both annualized franchises who took a bit of a gamble. When you have a big ship like Ubisoft and Activision does in a flagship franchise like Call of Duty, taking out the single player and putting in a PUBG clone is a bit of a gamble. There's going to be, and I think it's going to be a good move for them. And Assassin's Creed, I think breaking up their formula that admittedly was probably good. I've just seen and heard other people, because I've not played it a lot myself, saying that it's a bit tired. It's a big gamble for them to come out, especially if they're only going to release one a year now, and say, hey, this is Assassin's Creed now. It's going to be a little bit more RPG, a little less going through big cities, stealthing around and stabbing people in the heart with your concealed knife in your up your sleeve. But
I think what I'm interested to see in regards to Call of Duty even, is that if they will continue to include the Battle Royale mode in future games, or whether it's just kind of a flash in the pan setting or not.
I think how well it sells and how, I'm sure they have server data that'll show how popular it is. I would imagine if I ran Activision, it would be bankrupt in 4 days, because I'd say, just make nothing but Nintendo games from now on. But you're going to get sued. I'm like, I don't care.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just make PUBG. Okay. Buy Bluehole, fix PUBG, and then make the Dark Souls Zelda game I've always wanted. But Cherry, how can people get a hold of you?
Okay, if you guys want to contact me for any particular reason, whether to do with the podcast or Twitch or any other kind of feedback, I guess.
Production that you do?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to do this on podcast. Can I get you to make me a flyer for a New Year's Eve party that my band is playing?
Sure.
I'll pay you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
I do some kind of side design.
You said, dude.
Shut up. I do some side design work if anybody is interested. But if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can. I am on Twitter. I am at cherrycake518 at cherrycake518. And also I am on Twitch. I stream daily through the week, where I am at twitch.tv/cherrycaketv. What about you, Crunk?
Yeah, this episode will come out the 14th, October 14th. Make sure next week you go watch her play Assassin's Creed, because you'll never see her smile bigger than when she's playing this game. I am on twitch.tv/crunky with 2 N's, KRUNNKY, and I'm also on Twitter at crunky_twitch. Thank you guys very much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed us as we indulge in our hour-long conversations about these indie games. But bye-bye.